A bar graph is the horizontal version of a column chart. If you have large text labels, bar graphs work better than column charts because there's more room to show the entire text of the label here on the y-axis instead of here at the bottom on the x-axis. Excel has a few variations of the classic bar graph format, including the clustered bar, the stacked bar, the 100% stacked bar, and the 3D versions of each of these. Let's make a bar graph step by step using this data. Step 1 is to select all the data that you want to be displayed in the bar graph, including headings. If you have data where some of the columns or rows are not adjacent to each other, select only the data you need by holding down the Control key between selections, like this. Next, go to the Insert tab and click on the Insert Column or Bar Chart drop-down. Select one of the bar graphs here. We'll go with the classic 2D bar, which is called a clustered bar for starters. We click, and we have a bar chart inserted in the same worksheet as our source data. For data with a single value to each variable, like we have here, Excel usually uses the name of the dependent variable as the chart title. So our chart here is titled Sales. You can change a chart title at any time by clicking on the title and just typing in the name that you want. So we can type Album Sales, and you'll notice that it's being typed in the formula bar. We hit Enter, and the chart title is changed on our chart. Now we can make it so that the values on our chart are displayed by right-clicking on any of the bars, which then selects them all here. And then we just choose Add Data Labels from the context menu. So we notice that each album, the number of sales is also displayed on the chart itself. If we wanted to choose another chart type instead, we don't have to start over from step 1. Once our chart is selected, we go to the Design tab and click Change Chart Type. Here we have the option of selecting any of the chart types we like. A stacked bar shows each variable stacked on top of each other so that it's displayed as parts of a whole. So in this sense, they're a similar concept to pie charts. And the 100% stacked shows the values on the x-axis as percentages to highlight how each value contributes to the whole. We can also create multi-series bar graphs where each independent variable has multiple data points or values. In our previous example, each album had only one number attached, so maybe that represented album sales over the lifetime of the band. But what if we wanted to track sales for each album in each decade? Then each album would have several values, as we see here. So our steps are the same. We want to highlight the album names, and each decade, we won't highlight the total sales because we're not tracking the total at this time. Then we go to Insert, click our drop-down, and click Bar. So on this graph, each cluster represents a decade, as we can see here. And each bar within the cluster represents an album, which we see here on the legend. If we wanted to know how each album trended over the 5 decades, then we could switch the clusters to represent each album by going to the Design tab, then clicking on Switch Row column. Now what we see is that each cluster represents the album, and each bar within the cluster represents the decade. We can resize the chart by dragging on the handlebars. We can resize the text by right-clicking and selecting font, then changing the size to a larger size. And we can also add, remove, or customize any elements within our bar chart by clicking on this green Chart Elements shortcut. So let's say that we wanted to give our axis a title. We check this box, and the placeholder shows up here. Then we can type album name and enter. And that becomes our axis title. And at the bottom, we can name this sales and enter. Another way to add or remove chart elements is to use the quick layout from the design tab, where there are some built-in combinations, and we can choose any one. Since we like the one we had before, we'll leave it the way it was. Of course, we need a descriptive title, so let's click on the chart title placeholder and the name of the band, and maybe we want to say album sales by decade. Now you're ready to take on some bar graphs of your own. First, download this practice file and work through the examples. Then, let us know if you like this tutorial.
Ready to learn more about Microsoft Excel? Then check out the full course on GoSkills.com. Click the link in the description.